Last week, we covered a leak on the channel talking about the possibility of 8 new heroes coming to Deadlock, and we talked a lot through that process, but honestly, that has taken me back to maybe the OG leak in Deadlock, the Deathy leak. I want to take another look at it today and talk about what we know so far about the 8 new heroes, because there have been some even more leaks coming out that we haven't talked about yet on the channel, previewing some abilities of what heroes might be coming to Deadlock next. Hey everyone, this is Connor here at Dead Unlocked, and like I said, I wanted to start off with what feels like an image I've talked about on this channel so many times because it's been so foundational for what Deadlock has continued to become, and this leak has time and time again proven to be correct. And so what we see on screen here, my big fat head's covering up part of it, but what we have on screen here is what looks like to me to be a pretty convincing full hero roster. Now this was originally leaked by Deathy on stream back in May of 2025, but this leak again has continued to come to fruition. We have all of these new heroes in the game. We have Bookworm, we have Doorman, we have Drifter, we have Frank, right? We have Punk Goat. Like, they all have new names and they were tidied up a bit, but we have these heroes in the game now. So I want to look at what heroes are left on this list, and then I also want to kind of corroborate that with some tweets I've seen, maybe some data mining that goes into the abilities that some of these heroes may end up having. So let's look at this image one more time, at specifically the heroes on here that we do not have in the game yet. So first one is Boho. This is the only image we have seen of Boho leaked, outside of, I think, one that I'm going to pull up here in a second. But Boho is one that, outside of this image, we have not seen much of as far as she is concerned. We have some heroes in the bottom row, though, that we have seen some of. Fathom is one that we have had in the Hero Labs before, has had a lot of changes made to him, but is one that we have seen in Hero Labs. Priest is one that we've seen in Hero Labs as well. Or actually, we have not seen Priest in Hero Labs, but we have... this is one that has been leaked before. I mean, we've seen Priest around, but really mainly through this image. Raven, Hero Labs, Trapper, Hero Labs, Wrecker, Hero Labs. Those are all the ones that we've seen in the game prior that were taken out with this new major update. Other ones I have questions about, though, are Swan and Skyrunner in particular. So, really to break down the ones we think might be coming but haven't seen much about are Boho, Priest, Skyrunner, and Swan. Those are the 4 heroes that I have arguably the biggest questions about so far. And I've seen some tweets come across my timeline, at least on X, that I want to go through and talk about. Again, these are leaks, but they show off what could be abilities for 2 of the heroes in question. So let's take a look. All right, so this first tweet I want to look at here, these are actually both going to be from the same account, but this is from @_Yushi, YUSHE. And this is a video that we'll actually dive into here in a second. And this is a tweet from September 9th, so yesterday. A look at the upcoming Deadlock hero Boho. Boho's model is not included in the files, so Vindicta is used for this footage, so you don't see the error model. Please remember that abilities and stats are subject to change. More details below if you scroll below. Boho is a witch that tethers spirit damage between multiple enemies with her passive ability Intertwine. She is very strong against multiple targets, but weak against single targets. Her ultimate ability is a tether that immobilizes enemies caught in the radius. So let's take a look at this video really quick and see exactly what we're looking at. All right, so I want to go through this video. This is the video link to that tweet. I'll include the links to both tweets I'm going to look at in the description. But let's take a look. I've not watched this, so I wanted this to be a genuine kind of first reaction to what we're seeing here. But this looks like the hero select screen, just kind of a bit more monotone and grayed out. Right away, though, we do have some ability icons here that do look to be unique. This really reminds me of Sinclair's, but otherwise, these 2 really do look pretty unique and interesting. And would corroborate that kind of chain witching tethering ability that the author of the tweet had posted. I still call them tweets, by the way, even though it's X. Sorry. Let's take a look. All right, so first thing is we have a weapon. Now, obviously, this is going to be very rudimentary, as with all leaks are, and this, like the author said, this is subject to change. But we have a weapon here. 5.5 bullet damage, 10 bullets per second, 30 ammo, and it looks to be some kind of like bolt action rifle of some kind. Could just be that this is Vindicta's gun as a placeholder, like she was saying, so I don't want to buy too much into the weapon so far. We have some vitality stats here, 635 health, some general spirit stats. This also does give us some spirit indicators for the abilities that are going to come. So from the 1 ability, looks like it's 60 damage. From the 2 ability, looks like it's 50 damage with a 80 barrier and 20 barrier per stack. We'll find out what that means in a second. The third ability has 30% link damage, 50 overall, plus, actually this looks to be the ult. So the link damage is 30% on the 3. With the ult, the number of the 4, it's 50 damage, 100 bonus damage, and a currently 0 barrier. Let's get into what those abilities look like, though. Some boon rewards there. Normal stuff. All right, first one. I think this is the first ability, at least. It seems like it would be. This looks like it's called Skip Shot for now. Throw a projectile that bounces between targets, dealing spirit damage. If there are no enemies nearby, Skip Shot will instead bounce off of Boho, reducing its cooldown. Interesting. This does 60 damage, 3 bounces, 18-meter bounce range, and the ways you scale it basically are it reduces cooldown, ups damage, and increases the amount of bounces it can do. So it's throwing a projectile, and this corroborates what the author said. This hero looks immediately like a full team fighting hero, which would be really fun in contrast to like what we just got with Drifter. Kind of a cool little 1-2 there, opposites. So Skip Shot, interesting. Number 2 ability called Swish. Love that name. Baller, you know. Swing twice, dealing spirit damage to targets in front. Hits against heroes grants bonus move speed and stacking barrier. So on hero hit, you get 50 damage and an 80 barrier. You get some move speed, and when you upgrade this, more damage, move speed, and an increased barrier. So yeah, swing twice, dealing spirit damage to targets in front, so like a melee of sorts. Hits against heroes grants bonus move speed and stacking a barrier. Okay, so you want to be in close, in team fights, a little bit of close range here as well. Third ability looks like it's Intertwine. Enemies hit by spirit damage are linked to other enemies, sharing a portion of incoming damage as bonus spirit damage. This is where that 30% linked damage came into play. The link distance is 8 meters. And as you increase this, okay, it has 6 max links as well. So you can chain this to every single person on the team. It's kind of cool. The ways you upgrade this, you increase the link distance, duration, and the linked damage. So yeah, this is basically, I think this will be a passive, but basically any spirit damage you're dealing is going to link to people in the enemy team and do a shared portion of the damage. Really interesting and unique ability, honestly. And then this one doesn't have a quite clear name. Ability _ Boho _ channel tether. So we don't have great names for this one, but this looks like it would be the ult. 100-second cooldown, definitely. And we don't have a description here of what this ult would do. It's just basically this is uncoded right now. But what we're going to get here is we're going to get 50 spirit damage on hit. You apply some move speed debuff, and you get bonus damage. You get some immobilized duration. This seems like a big lockdown that you're doing that would kind of synchronize with your other abilities of tethering spirit damage, probably just locking down a big area of the enemy team, I would think. All right, now we have Boho at lowest level. Okay, so now we get to see the abilities in action. I didn't know this was coming in the video. This is a surprise to me. It's kind of cool to see. So this is her using the 1 ability, and then again, using Vindicta's model here makes sense. I was wondering what they were referencing. So this is using the 1 ability, it looks like. Skip Shot. There's the 2 ability, so that's that close range swipe doing damage to everyone. There's the ult, tethers everyone, and after a delay, immobilizes. That is sick looking. Okay, that's at lowest level, wow. And then yeah, there's the spirit damage going between everyone. Wow. And then the gun seems pretty standard. I don't know if this will be her gun or not. But wow, super, super interesting. That ult is crazy looking. Dang, look at that chain spirit damage. Wow. That's kind of crazy. Okay, very, very interesting. Just resetting the Abrams here. All right, now let's look at this at max level. Very cool. Dang, Skip Shot's crazy. Whoa. That is so gnarly looking. Wow. And there's the ult. I think, or maybe that was the 2. That was just the 2. Oh my gosh. Wow, that's a huge chunk of damage when you synchronize with the spirit chaining. Oh my gosh. Crazy gnarly. Let's see, I presumably use the ult here. Big tether. Big slam. Wow. Really, really cool ability showcase here. And wow, very, very cool. Want to shout out the author of that tweet for providing this. This is really, really interesting to look at. And overall, Boho looks like she would be a really, really fun character. I'm a big Spirit character user. I just generally gravitate towards Spirit. aka I just can't aim. So this is definitely one that looks like I would play, and seems like a feasible kit. Seeing it in action like this is one of those things, is why I wanted to. I hadn't watched this video, but seeing this tweet along with the other one, along with the Deathy leak that we showed, really makes me think this could be something pretty viable. And so I did want to go ahead and point it out. But yeah, what an interesting start. Dang. Okay, so let's take a look at, we have another one of these tweets from a few days ago. I want to take a look at another hero we might expect in the coming Deadlock update. All right, we have another tweet from the same author here. This one actually comes from September 7th. I was a little weary of covering it at the time because honestly, I just had nothing else to corroborate it with. But now with seeing this new one with Boho, I feel like this is worth covering it now. I also can't get this video to pause, so you're just gonna have to stare at it. A look at the upcoming Deadlock hero, Venator. Not sure how else to say that. Also known as Priest. So this is a Priest preview here. Venator's model is not included in the files Warden is used for the footage, so you don't see an error model. Remember, ability subject to change, more details below. His weapon, 5120, is a Bible verse. You are my club, my weapon for battle. With you, I shatter nations. With you, I destroy kingdoms. Ability descriptions for him are unfortunately not included in the current build. His third ability is a stacking defense that when maxed out gives up to 30 stacks, that also provides increased weapon damage of 1.5% per stack. So max stacks is 45% damage increase on your weapon. Wow. Stacks last for 10 seconds, 12.8 seconds with duration extender. Okay, let's take a look at this video and see what we've got going for Venator here. All right, so presumably same thing with the other video, just gonna run through it here. Looking at the weapon to start, 5120 is that super hardcore Bible verse weapon that she was talking about, they were talking about. Medium range, projectile, 8 bullet damage, 30 ammo. The gun looks really sick. Again, this could, I hesitate to say how much of this is really finalized because this one really does look a little bit even rougher around the edges than the Boho one, but still, let's take a look. We've got here, this is also just a shorter video. Some of these stats, again, on screen showing, I really don't know how much credence to give them. And I think they're going through it quickly because of that reason. Let's take a look at what these abilities look like. So we're just going to go right into a showcase. It looks like there's no, like they were saying in the post, there's no ability descriptions so far for this. So let's just kind of take a look at what we've got here. So that was the one. Looks like it is a grenade with a burning proc attached to it. Also worth noting that this is not purple damage. This doesn't look like it's spirit damage. I mean, that looks like it is a white damage number, which we have not seen in the game yet. Unless this is just something that I'm thinking too much of, or could just be a back-end thing. This could be like our first example of true damage. I've always wondered if this is going to come to Deadlock. Could be what that is. Not really sure. Really long burn, though, on that one ability. Okay, the 2 looks like it's a pushback. You're going to be able to shoot someone back against a wall. Watch that one again. Almost looks like an alt fire from the gun. So 3 is that stacking defense that they talked about. And 4 looks like it, okay, you get like a heightened weapon ability here. But yeah, it looks like you can just get a lot of damage on those shots with, and I'm telling you, that damage is not purple. Because the weapon damage is still coming through as yellow. That other damage is showing up as a white number text, which we really haven't seen yet. And Deadlock, super, super interesting. All right, so now we're just kind of seeing what it looks like to shoot this character. Okay, so I guess we're seeing the passive stacks build up here is what they're showing us. Yeah, the crosses around the body is a super interesting little animation. What a cool look. Really interesting character. Very fascinated to get more of a look at Venator in this game. So those 2 posts bring us back, like I said, to this Deathy image leak where we can really see, Priest, Venator, however you end up saying that, and Boho. Again, this is just, there's more and more reasons for me to think that this really is probably going to be the hero roster for Deadlock at some stage, right? Now, there's always the off chance. You know, Valve always has tricks up their sleeve. I don't know anything advanced in this situation. I'm just trying to gather the information I have at hand. It really does appear like we're getting slowly more and more leaks, more and more information, meaning that there's probably more and more testing and development of all of the heroes shown here. I mean, we've gotten, like I said, the last 6 in the major update, all of them are shown here. And now we have really convincing imagery, in-game imagery, of who's called Priest and Boho here. I don't see any reason why we won't continue for that to be the trend, for that to be the case, that we get more and more heroes like this. I also believe, if my quick math is correct, this is 40 heroes from the looks of it, I think. Yeah, 4 by 10. So 40 heroes would make a lot of sense for like an open beta release. I figure they're gonna want like a round number. Where they're at right now doesn't feel bad, but it also feels like it's more like an Overwatch roster count. And I think with MOBAs, you need a little bit more. So I expect them to be closer to like a 40, 50 number for an open beta or for release. This would get us right to that amount. So I just want to end by saying, I don't know exactly that this is going to be the full hero roster, but it seems like more and more information is coming out to lead us in that direction. But as always, take all of this with a grain of salt. None of this is confirmed. We've seen fabricated leaks before. I think there was one of like a pirate looking character or something that came out a while ago that some people covered. Ended up being admitted to be fabricated. So that does exist out in the world. People do that. So take it with a grain of salt. But for what it's worth, I only try to cover things in the channel that I think look really, really convincing. And so far, I think just about everything we've covered has at least surfaced to some level, or at least it's still pending. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in. I love doing the kind of little mini investigating, finding out what we can find out about these new heroes. I love theorizing what's next for the game. It's always a question I will ask, especially as Deadlock is in its current state now, where so much is changing. It feels really exciting. We are players that are a part of the development process, which is a really cool thing. So I always love to dig in, especially when games are in states like this. But as always, thank you all so much for the support on the channel. Really appreciate you. Hope we get to see some of these new heroes sooner rather than later. No idea when the next update's going to come, but I imagine we get something, at least more information in the next coming weeks about what's next for Deadlock. We'll continue to provide all the updates here on Dead Unlocked, so stay tuned. And from our house to yours, we'll see you all next time.